We're going to learn how to sort data in Excel. Sorting can be a very useful thing, but it can also be a very dangerous thing. So before you sort a file, make a copy of it. Don't ever do anything to your original data because you might always need to go back to it. So to make a copy, if you hold the Control key down and then drag the tab, it makes a copy. And I will double click on this so that I can relabel it, and I'll call it sorted. Okay, so now if we totally mess this up, we can go back to the original data. And no matter how good you are, you should always assume you might mess something up. Now we've got our copy of our original data here because we have to assume we might mess something up. And we're going to sort this data. So you go to the Data tab here because the sorting features are on the Data ribbon. This is called a ribbon. And notice I've got my header row bold because that helps Excel know that that's a header row. But it still may not know. So let's copy this. And if I click on this A to Z sort down, it's going to sort on the leftmost thing that I have selected, and it's going to copy, it's going to go lowest to highest. And it did not know that was a header row, that's why it put it to the bottom. So let me undo, and this sort button here that looks like a box, this gives you more control. And see here it's got a place that says my data has headers. When I click that, now it's going to leave the headers alone and leave them where they belong, and it will just sort the data. And now since it knows it has headers, I've got a pull down menu here of the column heading names. So if I wanted to sort by gender, I could do that. Or you can sort by more than one thing. Let's say I wanted it alphabetical, but alphabetical within the genders. I would add another level and say sort by gender and then by last name. This is Z to A, this is A to Z. I probably want, that's okay, I'll leave it like that. Okay, now we've got all the males alphabetically and then all the females alphabetically. Now just to warn you about the kind of things that people sometimes do that get them in trouble. Let's say you wanted to sort by last name, so unknowingly you just selected this column. I say unknowingly because you don't want to do this. But you select this column and you say just sort A to Z. It gives you a warning because it knows you might be making a mistake here. If you say just continue with that current selection because I want to sort by last name, look what's going to happen. Take a look at somebody like Alice Walker here, Laura Ingalls. We sort by last name. Everybody just got a different last name. And you can really mix your data up this way. So that's something you need to be aware of, be very careful of. Let's undo that. And it will warn you, like we saw there. Let's say we want to sort A to Z. It asks you, and the default is expand the selection, meaning select it all so that you're not sorting the first names and giving everybody, leaving the last names where they were and leaving the student IDs. So read those boxes when they pop up. So let's just take a look at some of the other things that we can do with sorting. If you've got a small amount of data, go ahead and just select it. But if you have like an entire school system, you don't want to scroll. You can just select it this way by selecting the headings. And then let's look at some of the other options. You see here, sort on. You could sort on cell color if you're using conditional formatting and say you've got, some cells are green and some are red. Some are yellow because you've coded them to stand for different levels. You can sort by color We've been sorting by the cell values, which that's how you would sort alphabetically or numerically. You can sort by font color or by any other conditional formatting. But since we don't have any colors, we'll sort by cell value. If we look at the options, we can choose whether we want to sort top to bottom or left to right. Top to bottom is a lot more intuitive to me, so that's what I normally use. If we, let's see, we got it top to bottom, and our data has headers, so we better check that. Student last name, let me show you how to delete something if you want. Let's say we're going to sort by last name and then first name, and then by gender. And then let's say you decide you don't really care to sort by first name. You can delete by clicking that. And then we'll add the gender back in. Everything is A to Z. The options, top to bottom. We could make this case sensitive if we wanted to. There's no need to here. And we had everything selected, so we didn't just mix up our data.